Hi everyone, Mr. McCray here again, giving you another video. This time I'm giving you a video on graphing linear equations, but we're going to add more to what we've learned before in terms of the slope-intercept form. So if you remember what we learned before, that y and slope-intercept form of graphing linear equations, that y was always equal to mx plus b. So we knew the m was the slope and the b was the y-intercept, okay? Now, the y was always going to be the dependent variable, the output of whatever we put in for the slope and also the y-intercept, okay? So now we're going to start talking about it in a little different way. We're actually going to take out this y, and now we're going to make that in terms of f of x, okay? So therefore, what does f of x mean? So basically, f is a function of x, okay? So therefore, like this, the idea is it works for, okay? So like if you work for a company, say you work for Walmart, all right? So basically you work, Walmart is a function of you, okay? So you work for Walmart, all right? So that's kind of the idea on this. So now instead of just using y, we're going to actually put a value in for x, and we're going to find out what that function actually means at this point. Okay, and so hopefully you understand that, and as you go along, kind of get that understanding, because fortunately you're going to work with f of x for a long, long time for the rest of your high school career as we go along in the process. Okay, so let's talk about it here. So what is this f of x equals 2x plus 1? So we should know how to graph that. So remember from before, we could just do, this is the y-intercept here, this is the slope, and so all I do is put that point 1, and then I go up 2 and over 1, and I can make the line itself. But at this point, now we want to actually start figuring out if f is a function of x, okay, how does that relate to the table? All right, so let's look at it here. So basically what we'll do is we'll take this value of x of 0, and we're going to plug it in here. And then any place we have a 0 in the equation, we're going to substitute in the 0 for that. And we're going to solve it to find out what y is. So again, I'm going to put f of x here instead of y now because we're changing it. Okay, so basically this is how it would look. The f of 0 equals 2x plus 1. All right, actually, let me change that. Sorry, guys. Take out that 0 on that 1 right here. Okay. There we go. All right, so 0 plus 1. Okay, so basically now I'm just substituting it as 0 for anywhere there's x, so this cancels, this becomes 2, 0, well, this equals to 1. All right, same thing, I'll do the other one, f of 0, after 1, 2, 1 plus 1. And so again, I put that value in, that's going to give me 3. Okay, f of 2, okay, so I plug in 2 for the equation, and that's going to give me 5. Now I have another side where I have 11 on one side. Okay, so I have to figure out what the x is. So what do I have to do in this point? So now I know what the f of x is. So instead of f of 2, I'm just going to write 11. Okay, and then I'm going to plug, now I have 2x plus 1. So again, now what I'm doing is solving for x. So minus 1 from both sides. This becomes a regular one-step of problem here, actually two-step. And then I divide by 2 on both sides, and x equals 5. Okay, and that's it. So then I want to graph this information, and I use the same table coordinate points. So I know that 0, 1 is my y-intercept, because that would make sense because the 1 is here. So I'm going to plot that point 0, 1 right here. Okay, I want to do 1, 3. So up 2 over 1, that makes sense. There it is. And then we got 2, 5. So we go up 2 over 1. There's the 5 right there. Okay, and then we have 5, 11, which is out the door, so I'm not going to do that one. So, and here's my graph. Okay, so basically it's the same thing we learned before. We're just basically putting in that f of x as a way of representing y now. And so it makes it easier for us to use. We could use it in more applications and problems and things like that. Okay, so I think we should be able to get this as we go along in the process. So we're gonna take out the graph at this time, and we're gonna just practice how to find the value of y, or f of x, when we know the value of x. Okay, so let's move on down here. So we have a value of, we have f of x equals 3x minus 4. Great. Okay, and so now we have f equals f of 3. Okay, so wherever there's an x, we're going to put 3 in for. So again, we go f of 3 times 3 minus 4. Okay, so that's 9. 9 minus 4 is 5. So f of 3 is equal to 5. So the output would be 5. So if we wanted a coordinate point out of that, we would have 3, 5. Okay, so that's good to know. That's a coordinate point. So let's do another one. Basically, I have f of -2. So I'm going to substitute in anywhere there's going to be an x. 2 minus 4. So that gives us -6 minus 4. And that gives us f of -2 is equal to -10. So the coordinate point for that would be -2, -10. Like that. Beautiful. Okay, the next one, f of m. Okay, wait a minute, there's an m. What happens in that situation? Okay, so we have f of m. What do I do with that? That's easy. I just plug in, instead of an x, I plug in m. We have m equals 4, and that's it. That's the question. That's the answer. That's all you have to do. Now, this one is a little different. We have f of x equals 20. So f of x of the y is going to equal 20 at this point. So now all I have to do is put 20 here, okay? And then I do 3x minus 4. Now I want to go about solving this type of problem. So again, I add 4 to both sides. I think we all know how to do that. So that gives us 24, 3x, and then we divide by 3 on both sides. And so we know that x equals 8. So therefore, we can make the coordinate point of 8, 20 would be our coordinate point. So again, once you get these values, these function values, okay, you can take those function values and make coordinate points, and we can solve them. Now, this one is the only one you cannot do, but I think we get the understanding of how to do this right now. So again, substituting in wherever we have an x, we're going to substitute in whatever the values inside the parenthesis in that equation to solve for it, so we can find out what the y is or the f of x is. Okay, so I think hopefully we can totally get this idea in this point. All right, so let's try a couple more, and then we'll give you some time to practice. Okay, so let's look at another one here. So we have nope, I forgot to make another layer. I'm sorry, guys. Give me a few seconds. Good. I think we're good now. Yep. All right. So let's try this one. I wrote it down, but where did I put it? Oh, there it is. Okay. So again, so we have f of x equals -2x plus 5. Okay, plus 5. All right. So now we want to take this information, and now we want to graph it as well. Okay, so we could graph if we want to. If we know 5, go up 5. Okay, to this point, and then we go down 2 and then over 1 to the right, and it should make a negative correlation going down to the left. We could do that. But now, again, like I said, for application purposes, we're now going to start putting in values for x, and we're going to be solving it. So we have an x value here of 5. Okay, so now we're going to put f of 5, and we're going to substitute that in for the equation. Okay, so that'd be -10 minus 5. That gives us -10 minus 5 gets to -5. Okay, so the same thing for 8. Okay, so -2, 8 plus 5, 16. What is that? -16 minus 5. It gives us 11, -11. Okay, and let's see. We plug in a -2 in for the equation. That's going to turn to positive. So anytime it's negative, it's going to turn to positive. So that would be -2 times 2 is 4, plus 5 is 9. Beautiful. And the last one, we have 15 on the other side. Now we're going to substitute in 15 for the f of x, and we're going to solve for x at this point. Okay, -5 from both sides. That's 10 minus 2x, and that's -2, -2. So that would be -5. Okay, so now we have the table filled out, so we can take this information and now we can go about solving it. All right, so we have 5. Okay, we go up 1. No, so we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Boom, right here. Okay, 8. This is 5. We go 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8, and then we go down 11. This is 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, somewhere around here. Okay, -2, 1, 2, and then we go up 9, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Right here. And then we have -5, and then we go out the chamber somewhere around here. So the graph would look something like this. Again, I know this is kind of crazy, but it looks something like this. All right. I mean, again, like I said, if you have this information, the equation, you could actually just make the graph. You don't have to do all this information if you want. And on the test, though, I will have to make you complete the table, okay, and show your work how to do that. But and if you know how to graph it, you can just basically use this equation to graph the line as well. Okay, so again, that's how it kind of fits together. Is f of x, how it fits together with the rest of it. All right, so let's look at it in a different angle now. Okay, so now we have the graph. Now we've given different points of f of x, and now we got to determine what the y would be from the graph itself. So you will have to do this on the test. And the test, I'm aiming at sometime next week or early the week after for the test for this, so we can finish this stuff and get out of this chapter, and move on to Pythagorean theorem. But I want to make sure that everybody understands what we need to do. So we might take one more day just as review before we actually take a test. All right. So let's look at this one here. So we have this kind of function that goes kind of crazy off the chain here. Functions do that. Some functions do that. So again, once we get into some harder stuff, you'll start to see the different styles of functions, how they go, and one looks like quadratic and what the equation looks like for that, and vice versa. But you'll get more into that into ninth grade with Miss Kilcoy. All right, as well. So let's look at this here. So here's the graph. We have f of 4 equals blank. So all we have to do, we know what the line is right here. So all we have to do is look at where f of 4 is. Now we know the 4 is just the x. Well, I forgot to make a layer. Sorry guys, I can't write on it. Oh, there it is. So this is x. This is the x portion. So all I have to do is go look at the 4. Where does that line meet it? So here's the point of 4 right here. And where does it meet on this side? At 3. That's it. So it'd be f of 4 would be 3. So what about f of 0? So again, here's 0 right here on the origin. Where does it meet the graph? Right at 1. Okay. So that'll be number 1. Now look at -1. So we go here -1 on the graph. We look up. We look here and we look up right at this point here. So that's -1, 1. Okay. 2 right here. It goes up to 2 right up on top. So this is 2. Okay. Just right here. Right. -3 going down -3 to 0. Okay. Right here is 0. Okay. And so we should start seeing a pattern here, 0 and -3, what those are. Some of them could be y-intercepts, some of them could be x-intercepts. Now we have another one. So now we have -3. So we have f of x equals -3. So we have to do is figure out where -3 is on the y-axis right here, and where does it cross at that point. So we go down here to this point right here, and then where does it cross at over here? It looks like at -4. So therefore, x would be -4. Okay. So again, like I said, basically just trying to give you an idea of like how this stuff would look in a graph. All right. And trying to work through it. I think everybody should be good on how to do this. I did not make this video long, but I think that people should be able to get this done pretty well. There should be a lot of precursor information that people have on how to do this. If there isn't, and everybody's not sure, we'll take another day. We can slow down and we'll take another day next week and we'll review this again and try to get everybody on the right path. Okay. So that's it for now. We will see you all practice on, and we'll see you all later. Bye now.